Well, I wasn't intending to be out here in the middle of this sleeting snowstorm, but my phone died and I had to charge it back up, and I got it just in time to get caught in the midst of all this. So I'll try to be brief, but today's Ash Wednesday, and you know, it's the beginning of Lent, and it's an opportunity to really think about how much can happen in a year. It was during Lent last year that we began this journey through COVID, which has continued to just ravage our lives. Whatever you think about it, it's affected all of us. As I started to think about Ash Wednesday a year ago, who would have ever imagined that we would be where we are now? Like, so many things have changed. And it's a good opportunity to reflect on the past year, because as we progress through Lent here the next couple of weeks, we're going to come upon the 1 year anniversary of everything closing down, and our lives as we know it changed. Now, some of us have had more dramatic changes than others, but a lot of people have been working from home all the time. Our kids haven't been in school for a year regularly. It's just been a crazy year. And I think it would be a shame if we allowed this year to pass without spending some time reflecting on the things that have happened this year. If you live around this part of the woods, you'll have a couple days here of, not being able to do a whole lot outside anyways. But you know, I think the hardest part of the past year for a lot of people is that we're just not very good being still. We're not very good at clearing our minds and thinking about our lives. Like, we're so busy with work and with our jobs and with school and with our families and with whatever else that demands our time. And then on top of that, when we do have a spare moment, we cram it with sports and television and online and hobbies, and on it goes. And it's just not very often that we're able to just kind of be at peace and at rest for a while. And that's really what this time of the year is for in the history of the church. Lent is a time to just reflect, to just think about our lives. One of the things our church has done is behind us, and I want to get this video done before the snowfall covers these flags, because the timing has not been ideal. But we've been bombarded with numbers over the past year. It seems like every day there have been new numbers of hospitalizations and people who were sick, and how many testing were done, and how many people died, and all those numbers, they just kind of get to be where they numb us. It's just kind of numbing. And so we thought it would be a great idea. One of our members, our worship minister, Brian, had an idea, and we thought it was a great idea. And so this past couple of weeks, we've been putting flags out beside our church building. And it's hard to tell now. I've got some drone footage I'll talk over here in a minute, so you can kind of really get a scope for it. But each one of those flags out there, each one represents 1,000 people who have died because of the coronavirus. 1,000 people. Now that means that there's over 2,000 blue flags out there representing all of the people in the world who have died. In the middle, they're a little harder to see because of the snow, but the yellow flags, they represent people in the United States who have died. We'll be approaching 500,000 people before too long. And in comparison, the number seems a little bit smaller, but right here behind me are a few flags. There's about 16 of them that represent the 16,000 people here in the state of Ohio who have died. And there's a lot of things behind those numbers, and we can talk about this and that, and the accuracy of numbers, and the age of the people, and all that kind of stuff. But we want to put that noise behind us for a while and just reflect on the fact that over 2 million people have had their lives affected directly. They've lost their lives, and those 2,000 families, or 2 million families, have dramatically had their lives affected because of this virus. But in varying levels, all of us have had some effect in our lives. What we would like to do as a church, we'd like to invite you alongside us on a journey over the next 6.5 weeks. We want to ask the question, what has become of us? What has become of me? over the past year. There's no way that it hasn't affected us. I told the church a couple days ago, I realized this after we had been in quarantine and we just really hadn't gone anywhere. This was back in the middle of last year. There just wasn't any cars going anywhere. Nobody was going anywhere. And in a couple weeks, as things opened up a little bit, I remember going out. I don't remember where I was going, but I remember being out and I got stopped at a couple stoplights and there was some traffic. And I remember how impatient I was because I just hadn't been around people very long. It was easy to become so impatient. It was one of those subtle things that had happened to me because of the circumstances of the last couple, well, at this point, the last several months. My point is this: we have been changed. There are things that have happened to us. There's been so much emotion around the election, around some of the social justice movements, and of course around the coronavirus restrictions and all that stuff, and it's done something to us. And so I think it would be a great opportunity over the next couple of weeks to just think about some of the major ways that it's affected us. And as a church, we're going to try to do our best to help get us back into a rhythm, because that's the biggest thing that's happened is we've kind of gotten out of rhythm lately. There's a big reason for that, as so many parts of our lives have been affected. And so we're going to use social media in kind of a subtle way to try to get us back into rhythm. And so over the next couple of weeks, we're going to follow kind of the same rhythm. If you haven't been joining us, I put a sermon and our worship service together online every Sunday, and that's going to kind of set the tone for the week. The first week, next week, we're going to be talking about just our holistic lives, our health, and our life as we know it, and how that's been affected, how we've become more appreciative of it. Then on Monday, I'm going to offer a short meditation from Scripture. From the Gospel of John, Jesus says several times that I am the bread of life. I am the great shepherd, all these different I am statements. Tuesday, we're going to share just some worship music, some things that encourage us through music. On Wednesdays, one of our members is going to share a little bit of wisdom, a scripture reading maybe, kind of in light of our theme for the week. On Thursdays, we're going to encourage everybody to just use their social media accounts to just share some things that they're thankful for. And then every Friday, I'm going to offer just a quick word of encouragement of something you can do over the weekend to help get your life back in a spiritual sync. It's been a lot. It's almost poetic that I'm standing in the middle of a snowstorm offering these thoughts because so many things have happened over the last year. But don't let this season pass. Don't let this season pass for you to spend some time considering the way that God is working in your life, some of the things that He may be trying to get you to do, some of the things He may be getting you to see. Use this time to deepen and nourish your faith, because there's something great on the other side of this. There's something amazing that God is trying to do in your life. I hope you'll join us in this journey.